Welcome to Shooby Dooby Doo-Wop, a podcast where we talk about pop music. We're halfway through our deep dive of the UK Top 10 Singles Chart of the 31st of May 1967.
Shall we recount the 5 records we've missed, numbers 10 to 6?
What a good idea. Down 5 to number 10, it's a former number 1, Something Stupid by Nancy and Frank Sinatra.
A beautiful father-daughter duet, despite the naysayers.
Up 6 places to number 9, it's The Wind Cries Mary by the Jimi Hendrix Experience.
All about mashed potato, so you told me, which I'm still slightly resentful of.
Down 2 to 8, it's The Boat That I Row by Lulu.
The beautiful boat that Lulu rocks and sings on.
Up 1 to 7, Seven Drunken Nights by the Dubliners.
And let's call it Shaggy Dog Song.
And down 2 to 6, it's Pictures of Lily by The Who.
Maybe about onanism, doesn't matter, it's a beaut.
All the songs featured can be found on our Spotify and YouTube playlists. Links in the description, and if you join our Patreon community, you can get access to our bonus tracks. Half a dozen songs that are in the chart, but aren't in the top 10. Here's a taste of what you can expect in that. It sounds like a 60s party falling down a hill.
Sex and drugs, right in the title of that band immediately.
This is a British band whose name begins with B and ends in S. And that's all they told them. So a load of radio stations started playing this, thinking it was the new Beatles song.
I love this song. That's me done. See you later.
What is it you like?
See you later.
Stop jumping out the window, you. Join our community now at patreon.com/ShoobyPodcast.
Number 5.
Down 2 to number 5. It's a former number 1. It's Sandy Shaw with Puppet on a String.
This was Sandy Shaw's third UK number 1 single. She was the first British woman to have 3 UK number 1s.
One of 2 solo female artists in the charts this week, her and Lulu. That's an achievement, isn't it?
Yeah, and both of them, I mean, Sandy Shaw is 20 here. I can't imagine Lulu's much older than that.
Right, yeah.
Probably younger.
Lulu sang Eurovision songs, so maybe this is, unfortunately, in the patriarchy, a way for female pop stars to get in the charts.
She was a huge star. She'd had 2 number 1s already, including Always Something There to Remind Me, which is a banger. And then all of a sudden she's doing this for Eurovision.
Did she not? This is in the depths of my memory, but wasn't this year she sang all the songs and people voted on what was their favourite song? So Sandy Shaw was going to sing Eurovision, whatever happened, and then she appeared every week on some TV show.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it was. Yeah, they wrote 5 different songs. She performed them all on TV, and then people voted via postcard for their favourite.
Nice.
They voted for this one overwhelmingly. It was Sandy Shaw's least favourite. She called it sexist drivel with a cuckoo clock tune.
It's annoying, isn't it? I mean, then sexist drivel I would like to dig into a little bit. There's a couple of songs I can think about. There's the old soul classic I'm Your Puppet, which loads of people did. There's Puppet on a String, which Elvis sang in a soundtrack. So the notion... There's not many other songs about being a puppet, though, so...
I've Got No Strings from Pinocchio.
Yeah, that's very much a song about being a puppet. Some of the Pinocchio other songs. Good point. I like it. It's catchy, but it's undoubtedly annoying. I thought... What I quite like about it these days is you hear it, you think the unmistakable intro of Sandy Shaw, give it a few seconds, you think it's Alfie by Lily Allen. So I like the fact that she sampled it later, and when it first starts in an anonymous setting, you never know which record it is.
It was machine tooled to win the Eurovision Song Contest.
How do you mean?
To appeal to Europeans. It went on to be the biggest selling single of the year in which country?
Luxembourg.
No, come on. Listen to how the song sounds.
Germany.
Absolutely
with
right.
With its Bavarian nature.
Yes. Yeah. And it absolutely smashed the opposition in Eurovision. It's one of the biggest winners of all time. Yeah. No one got anywhere. No one got even half as many points as Sandy Shaw did.
It is so catchy.
It was written by 2 guys, Bill Martin and Phil Coulter, who wrote 4 number 1s. Between them, this is the first one.
Go on.
They wrote...
Give me a clue of the artist who sang them, and I'll see if I can come up with an type song they might have done, or let's call it a Eurovision appealing, centrist, populist type song.
The very next year, they wrote a song for Cliff Richard.
Congratulations.
Exactly. They tried to win it again, and obviously he didn't win. He got beat by a song called La La La, which is very funny. In 1975, they wrote a song called Forever and Ever by a band called Silk. That got to number 1. It's a bit more obscure, that one.
Yeah.
But bearing in mind that Bill Martin is Scottish and Phil Coulter is Irish, what was an unlikely number 1 for them to write in 1970?
Something about Wales?
No.
About England?
Yes.
1970, a big. Was it the England World Cup squad song?
Yes, Back
Really?
Home, which got to
Really?
number 1. It was written by a Scottish guy and an Irish guy.
That's good, isn't it?
Yeah, and you can hear that it's got that
Yeah.
congratulations puppet on a string
It's
thing going on.
All right, great.
So why Sandy Shaw, who was young, had a lot of credibility, why was she doing something as cheesy as Eurovision?
I don't know. You would imagine for a little bit of recognition and money.
She was. Did you know who discovered Sandy Shaw in
No.
inverted commas? Adam Faith.
All right.
And she had a manager called Eve Taylor. They wanted her to move away from pop to a more sort of mainstream cabaret style.
Yeah.
Because there had been a scandal.
A Sandy scandal.
Scandal Shaw. She had been named as the other woman in a high-profile divorce case involving the producer of the TV show Ready, Steady, Go,
Yeah.
a guy called Douglas Murdoch.
Okay.
And this was in the papers.
I get you.
Sandy Shaw is the other woman.
What a
She's
shame.
a home wrecker. So this was an attempt to
Endear her to the masses.
endear it to the masses, get over the
Well,
scandal.
What a shame.
Yeah.
That she has to record this stupid song to do.
Yeah, and for a long time she absolutely hated it. She wouldn't talk about it. She never wanted to perform it.
Yeah.
In later years, she mellowed somewhat and has become more philosophical about its place in Eurovision history as being one of the most successful Eurovision songs of all time. It sold over 4 million copies worldwide. It was the biggest selling single by a UK female until 2008.
Blimey. With what overtook it?
Alexandra Burke, Hallelujah.
That's showbiz.
And it was the biggest selling Eurovision single of all time until...
Waterloo?
No.
Johnny Logan, what's another year?
No. Brotherhood of Man, which is still the number 1 biggest selling
Which
Eurovision
song
song
was
of all
that?
time. Save Your Kisses for Me.
Oh, that's a great song too. I mean, I like these, let's call them earworms that smash their way into your head and burrow there forever. She says it's sexist. It's up to her, isn't it? Maybe.
She said it one time and someone wrote it down.
Yeah, maybe the way that she was coerced to record it, if we can say that, is sexist. Coerce is an anagram of record, just thought I'd point that out. Just came up in my head. I mean, it's not really, is it? Because I don't know. I like it. I may win on the roundabout, then I'll lose on the swings. In or out, there's never a doubt just who's pulling the strings. She's tied up with somebody or other. Doesn't have to be a fella. Because the rhythm of it, sounds, there's something steadying yet discombobulating about this song at the same time. Whatever they're doing musically, they've picked up something that makes you feel very anchored, but it's also a little bit woozy. It's a little bit fairground.
Yeah.
It's got skills, this song.
I could see how this song could be very sinister in the right context.
Yeah, put that in an appropriate scene in a film.
And it won't be the only song in this chart that does that to me.
You reckon?
Yeah.
I'm intrigued. Crucially, probably the most important point, James, while we're talking about this, it is another song with a key change in.
Hooray!
Number 4.
Up 8 to a peak of number 4. It's another cover version. In a way, it's the Beach Boys and Then I Kissed Her, a cover version of And Then He Kissed Me by the Crystals.
Yeah, I love that record too. I mean, I find this song is endearing. I've known it, I feel, all my life. It's just a pop song.
Well, do you know who else isn't fond of it?
Would it be Sandy Shaw? She's like digging into other people's as well. I don't know. Brian Wilson, Al Jardine, Mike Love.
Well,
the Beach Boys in general.
Yeah, Mike Love and also the Beach Boys in general. They weren't a fan of this being released as a single. This had been an album track a couple of years previously. It's the song And Then He Kissed Me, but from the point of view of the bloke.
Just by changing the pronouns?
But it's not by just changing the pronouns,
What?
because then it would be And Then She Kissed Me, and it's not. It's And Then I Kissed Her.
Ah, okay.
He's still doing the kissing.
Cool.
The bloke's still in charge.
All is right with the world then.
So why was it released, Andy? Why was it released?
Well, all right then. I didn't look into it because I know, let's call it your passion for this project, James. I liked it. I found it interesting that it was released after Pet Sounds. Pet Sounds, of course, is a experimental, groundbreaking. So I'm thinking, well, they're doing covers again for in 67.
Not only that, it's released after Good Vibrations.
Yeah.
And
I don't know, contractual obligation.
It was pretty much that. The record company was like, where's this next single? They're waiting for Heroes and Villains which isn't ready yet.
Which is, again, amazing song.
And is coming out.
Groundbreaking.
It's going to be out in a few months' time. Yeah. And they're like, well, right, while you're doing that, we're putting one of your old album tracks out that we think will sell loads. And they were right, it did sell loads.
Well, it's a great song, isn't it? I mean, like I say, despite I've got nothing to say about it, it's a winner. I had the pleasure of seeing Brian Wilson live recently, well, last 20 years or whatever, with the band The Wondermints. Saw him sing this at Glastonbury. Again, not one of their, let's call it, creative highlights in life, but everyone was singing along. Everyone loved this song, so that's a result, isn't it?
Is it a fondness for the original, though?
What, the Crystals?
Yeah.
Nah, no one knows that. I love that version, actually, but no one knows that. Everyone just knows
See, I know that version better than I know this version.
How? Where from? Why?
Well, it's in the movie Goodfellas.
Okay, well, that'd explain it then.
I think it's the song they play. You know the famous long tracking shot of them going the back way into the nightclub and getting the table at the front?
And that's the record they play?
Pretty sure that's then, yes.
Let's just say it is.
Yeah,
correct us on email.
Yeah, shubipodcast@gmail.com. Original song written by...
I don't know. I didn't look into it. Go on.
Phil Spector, Ellie Greenwich, and Jeff Barry.
Who? Ellie Greenwich, Jeff Barry wrote loads of great songs. Tell us all about it.
They wrote Do Ron Ron, Baby I Love You, Iko Iko,
Hit,
Be My Baby,
Hit,
Do Wah Diddy,
Hit,
Leader of the Pack,
Hit,
River Deep Mountain High,
Hit,
I Can Hear Music,
Hit,
Chapel of Love,
Hit,
and loads of others.
Hit.
Jeff Barry would go on to work with the Monkees and the Archies and stuff like that. Just they're pop classic machines.
Absolutely. Up there with Goffin and King.
So, yeah, I mean, it's a classic song. This version of it is not as good as the original. I know that's what musos always say. It's not as good as the original. But the production on it is not as good. It's clearly an album track that was put out.
Is it clearly an album track, or is it just such a great, catchy song?
Well,
she walked up to me.
It can be both.
Asked me if I wanted to.
But that's
lovely.
That's the power of the original. That's the power of the song, not the record.
Yeah. All right.
You know, the record is an album track, but the song is a classic.
Number 3.
Down one to number 3 this week. It's the Mamas and the Papas. We've dedicated to the one I love. Another cover version.
Originally by...
Five Royales, I think.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
They did it at one point, definitely. And the Shirelles also.
Five Royals sang. Mr. What's his name? El Pauling wrote it. I know this.
Ralph Bass and Loman Pauling. Loman Pauling ended up working as a night watchman at a church.
Oh, that's sort of good because he's in the house of God, but what a I mean, I love the Five Royals. Check them out if you don't know them. They're amazing 50s innovators. What can you say apart from what a beautiful lullaby it is? Mamas and the Papas are sounding great. It's... knocked me out. I knew this record. I haven't the best of Mamas and the Papas album. It's knocked me out this week. Loving it.
Do you not think it's a little sinister?
How do you mean?
Well, I can imagine this being over a horror movie trailer, and it's all like, and maybe an abandoned fairground, and it's misty, and you hear this song ethereally in the distance.
Yeah, all right.
When it comes in, because you know it's got that quality at the start, hasn't it? It's kind of slightly far away and woozy.
Yeah.
And then, would you call that a honky-tonk piano that comes in? Like a Western-style piano comes in.
There's a great version by a band I love called Lake Street Dive on YouTube. They released it as one of their annual Halloween songs they do. It's recorded in a room, so you hear the ambience of the room. They have a little friend who comes along and plays a honky-tonk piano in it. And it sounds amazing because it's just them singing. They're not mic'd up. It's got a real, like I say, the ambience of the room turns it into a treat. But the Mamas and the Papas version has also got that as well. It's a weird sounding record, isn't it? And I think the notion of the horror nature of it, I mean, you could do that with any song, and people have really, haven't they? So put anything sweet in a sinister setting and it'll sound different.
Yeah.
But it's got a melancholy and a menace to it inherently, hasn't it?
It has.
Yeah.
Do you think any of that was due to the internal wranglings of the Mamas and the Papas at the time?
I don't know too much about this, I have to admit. I mean, Michelle Phillips is impossibly beautiful, I feel.
She sings the lead on this.
Yeah. Weren't they two couples, and Michelle Phillips and John one of them?
John Phillips.
Didn't it all get a little bit confused, let's say?
Yeah. Michelle Phillips had been kicked out of the Mamas and the Papas the year before.
Why?
Well, she was married to John Phillips. She was having an affair with Denny Doherty, the other Papa, and Jean Clark from the Byrds.
Cool. So
they kicked her out of the group. She was briefly replaced by a woman called Jill Gibson.
Yeah.
but that didn't work out.
Never heard of that.
Yeah.
Can't think of any records of Jill Gibson on.
No, well, anything they did record was then re-recorded with Michelle Phillips when she came back.
Okay.
The Phillips got divorced in 1969. The band broke up in 68, briefly reformed, and then for good in 1971. And then 3 years later, Mama Cass died. How did Mama Cass die?
The rumour, this is a myth, isn't it? Choking on a sandwich?
Yeah, that's an urban myth. It's not true. And that was probably put about by her management, who didn't want people to know about all the drugs. But she basically died in her sleep of a heart attack.
Yeah.
She died in the exact same room that Keith Moon would die in 4 years later.
Dun, dun, dun.
And you can just hear, dedicated to the one I love, just sinisterly in the background.
What pictures of Lily whispers and the wind cries Mary.
There are other things about the members of that band that we're not going to go into.
Michelle Phillips, I suppose, as we alluded to, she had 3 relationships possibly at the same time. I'm just going to say workplace relations are very difficult, aren't they? So we're not judging.
No. I mean, ours is a nightmare, isn't it?
Really tricky.
We're like Sam and Dave, we are.
We're like Amanda and Mike over there.
Yeah, Mike Baldwin and Alma.
We are. I know you don't want to go into the darkness, but just tell me one, even just for our own titillation. What do you mean? What's dark that you don't want to go into?
Ooh, John Phillips.
What's he done?
He had a 10-year relationship with his own daughter.
Oh dear. They could have sung something stupid, legit.
I know. The Mamas and the Papas, the difference between how they sound and the stories about their life, there's a huge gulf there, because they sound beautiful and together, and in real life there were drugs and there were affairs and there was all kinds of things going on.
I'm not going to look into it. I'm going to just listen to the records.
Probably best.
Yeah, why not? Some things are good to be a mystery.
But also, one thing I wanted to say, because we mentioned the Beach Boys there, and we mentioned that Good Vibrations had come out 6 months earlier.
Groundbreaking record.
Was it a groundbreaking record?
Go on.
No, I'm not saying it wasn't, by the way. I'm genuinely asking, was it? How groundbreaking was it?
I like a contrarian. Go on.
Because it was, it's a symphony in 3 minutes, is what Brian Wilson said about Good Vibrations. And the reason I'm bringing it up is because there are a lot of songs that are in this chart that sort of fit that. It sounds like they're trying to do the same thing. They're putting out pop songs that are 3 minutes long, but they have definite different movements to them.
Absolutely. It's 1967, baby. Almost like a very exciting era of pop music, where people are trying to break, as we did the charts 2020. In that chart, there were 5 cyclical forward chord songs that go round and round. That's the modern way for that chart. This is not that, is it? It's 1967.
But are they doing it because
Summer of Love?
But are they doing it because Good Vibrations has inspired them, or are they also been inspired by the same things that inspired Brian Wilson?
Well, I think it's all in the air, isn't it? I mean, it's 1967 when I knew we were doing this year. I thought, well, we'll probably see Beatles and Stones with Sgt. Pepper, or Strawberry Fields, or Satanic Majesty's Request. Nowhere to be seen this week. Yeah, everyone else is sort of doing similar work.
I don't think either of them had been released in May.
You get my gist, though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's 1967 is it's got a reputation that year, hasn't it, as a year of change. So
a fertile time for pop going into different places.
And yet there's loads of fucking cover versions.
Yeah.
And
it's people taking other songs and doing stuff with him, apart from the Beach Boys.
Yeah. Good old charts,
Ironically.
Yeah. Interesting, though. Interesting, the innovation. And let's call it that's a good song. Let's do that.
Number 2.
Up 7 to its peak of number 2. It's the Kinks and Waterloo Sunset.
Never a number 1. Is that surprising? Not
yes.
Really. Yeah, all right then.
It is surprising, because this is a classic.
Waterloo Sunset by the Kinks, as we will discuss, it comes with just a reputation anyway. I mean, this is it's almost a fact, isn't it? This song's a classic. Loads of people have banged on about it. When I was clicking on YouTube to have a look at it, there were videos with Paul Weller, of course, and Sting probably, and loads of people saying, this is a great song, Damon Albarn. It's just got a reputation. Despite the Kinks' excellent catalogue, this seems to have been taken to heart.
Pete Townsend of The Who called it divine and a masterpiece.
Yeah.
Pop music journalist Robert Christgau called it the most beautiful song in the English language.
What a claim.
Yeah. Stephen Thomas Erlewine from AllMusic said, it's probably the most beautiful song of the rock and roll era.
Yeah, I mean, I don't kind of quite get it why this is, I'm going to call it received wisdom. It's a great song, don't get me wrong. It's beautiful, it's a classic. I don't necessarily get everyone going, no, but this one's the best. I think it's a bit mad, to be honest with you.
It's wistful and it's melancholic, and it's got that sort of yearning in it, in the lyrics, but also in the tune and how it's produced. It all comes together to fit a mood perfectly. What this song always reminds me of is that I got into bands like the Kinks and also the Small Faces and stuff like that in the 90s when Britpop, all the Britpop bands were saying, oh yes, because we like the Kinks. I was like, oh, I will listen to those. And I remember having a cassette of the Kinks on my Walkman. Yeah. And I just moved to London to study, and just being in central London listening to Waterloo Sunset as I was walking around. And it's so evocative.
I think this, James, with this song especially, when Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk or choose your tech billionaire of choice is able to download songs that enter your brain and claim royalties on these. I mean, every time I arrive at Waterloo Station or when I'm passing through that part of London, you sing that song, don't you? Occasionally, with a little side product of ABBA, of course. Let's not forget that. But you can't help but sing that song when you're in Waterloo, can you? I mean, it's there.
Particularly if you're there with people called Terry and Julie.
Yeah, quite. If I'm being slightly silly for the point of it, why is it this song gets everyone going, this is the best song ever, though?
Because I think, like a lot of great pop songs, it's about escape.
Yes, continue.
It's about, and Ray Davies said that. He said the Terry and Julie in the song, that's his sister and his sister's boyfriend, because they were going to move to Australia to go and have this better life somewhere else. That's what a lot of us yearn for. And that's part of our DNA, and those songs that speak to that, we connect with on an emotional level.
But the fellow who's singing it is trapped in he's not going anywhere, is he? The narrator is watching Terry and Julie. Yeah. And he just watches it all, the hustle and bustle, the people rushing by. He's watching it from his
Because the sadness is that you never do get to escape.
I get you.
Other people might, but you don't. And that's the sort of bittersweet quality of it.
But within that, the narrator of Waterloo Sunset is so happy there. Seems to be. I don't think he's saying, I've got to get, as the animal said, we've got to get out of this place.
It's like It's a Wonderful Life. I think that connects with people in the same way.
The familiarity of home. It doesn't really matter that it's in Waterloo, or that undoubtedly helps.
It doesn't matter that it's in Waterloo, because that is not what it was originally called.
I like this, Jack. Have you done a bit of research?
Oh, yeah.
Go on.
It was originally called Liverpool Sunset.
Really?
It was. Ray Davies changed it. Why?
I would imagine so he didn't get accused of cashing in on the Beatles or Merseysound or
Pretty
something.
much that. Yeah. He basically heard Penny Lane and went, I've got to change that.
Fair enough.
Got to change that.
I mean, as comics, we've got jokes like that. I'll just change that word.
Yeah.
They're not all.
But here's the thing. Ray Davies, when he was a teenager, he was in St Thomas's Hospital for a long time. He had to have a tracheotomy when he was a teenager. That's a harrowing operation. And he was in St Thomas's, which is next to Waterloo. And apparently the nurse would, there'd be a balcony, and the nurse would let him sit out on the balcony, and he would look over the river there.
All goes in.
So you think, you say it was called Liverpool, but was it always really Waterloo?
Yeah, all right. Yeah. That's a good fact, James.
You're welcome.
I like that. I'm going to get into this musically at least. Yeah. Right. It's in the key of E, right?
Oh, does it have a descending bass line at the beginning?
It does, but listen to this. This does my nut in a little bit about music and copyright, right? You've got your key. It's in the key of E. So your do, re, mi scale is... Yeah?
Yeah.
You know that. So then if you're playing notes from that of, you're just going up there. Uncopyrightable in many ways. But if you start on the fifth note of that scale... whatever it is, but it's just that beautiful introduction is just running up and down the scale. I mean, it sounds so iconic, doesn't it?
Yeah.
From just something that goes essentially. Yeah.
That's the added value that the Kinks bring to it, isn't it? It is a Hairs on the Back of Your Neck song is a Goosebumps song.
I've seen Ray Davies and or the Kinks or versions of that 3 times live. They always play it, and something magic happens in the room. People melt. I mean, what more do you need from a song?
Waterloo Sunset as well
Yeah.
did not chart in the United States.
Really?
Does not connect with Americans.
Should have called it Oklahoma Sunset or something, maybe. So that makes me, again, to dig back into the point, it's a brilliant song, of course. Maybe it's not a brilliant song. Only Cockneys like it.
The UK's number 1.
At number 1 this week. It's been number 1 for 2 weeks. It'll be number 1 for another week. It is Silence is Golden by the Tremolos. Another song with a key change in. Done. I'm done. See you later.
And another cover version, originally
Really?
by the Four Seasons. It was originally a Four Seasons B-side.
Wow.
Written by Bob Gaudio of the Four Seasons and Bob Crew. Between them are responsible for I Like Short Shorts,
Great song.
Big Girls Don't Cry,
Great song.
Walk Like a Man,
Yep.
The Sun Ain't Gonna Shine Anymore,
Walker Brothers.
Can't Take My Eyes Off You,
Andy Williams.
December 1963,
Four Seasons.
and Lady Marmalade.
LaBelle.
Yeah.
Well, that's a great CV, isn't it?
Yeah.
This isn't a song I owned. I never bought a Best of the Tremolos album in my, let's call it my life. But I had this song on something or other, Best of it. It's beautiful, this song.
This song has grown on me so much this week.
Good. It's a
I
treat,
always,
isn't
I always
it?
thought, oh, this is going to be a bit cheesy. But it's not, is it?
Yes.
Apparently the Tremolos would perform it live, and then audiences really, really loved it. And so, we'll stick this out as a single. And the Hollies went, we were going to do that.
Yeah.
And they never got around to doing it.
I think by the sound of it, I haven't looked at YouTube videos for this one, but I get the impression that all 4 of the Tremolos are singing on it. It's a 4-piece harmony, a bit like Mamas and Papas we were discussing earlier.
Yep.
It's got all them skills to it. I'm going to say that idea that Waterloo Sunset is in the key of E, but it starts on this B to get there of ding, ding, ding. You remember. What the Tremolos do to start on a chord of B to get to E, much more economical. They go something like... So economical. So that's just a little B to E way of getting into a record. It doesn't have to run down the scale as simplistically as the Kinks.
Maybe Ray Davies should have had a number 1.
Was it a big hit in America, this song?
It did all right in America. It got to number 11. Sold 1 million copies worldwide. Rick Westwood sings the lead. He experienced some hearing difficulties in the 70s and completely lost the ability to sing falsetto. So after that, he couldn't sing.
Heartbreaking
anymore.
for him.
Yeah. The bass player,
Yeah.
Len Chip Hawkes of the Tremolos, well known for being the dad of
Chesney
Hawkes.
Tony, the skateboarder.
No, just Chesney. And that's Tony Hawk, anyway. Tony Hawkes is the bloke from Morris Minor and the Majors. Chip Hawkes once harassed a waitress in a Birmingham night spot who took revenge by shooting a champagne cork at him. Ask me how I know that.
Because your mum and dad were there.
My mom was that waitress.
All right, cool. Really?
Yes, it's a story she tells.
You would, wouldn't you? What an arsehole. Well done, Mrs. Cook. Let's talk about the lyrics. Have you give these any thought? Or have you just enjoying the sumptuous bath of it all? What my point is I would have imagined when I first heard it in my collective memory, I think that's a little love song. And the words are weird, James. It's a weird sentiment. And it goes 3 verses. Each verse has a little narrative, I'm going to say. I find it really interesting, the sentiment behind this song, and I am going to talk about it for approximately 3 hours.
It's an unrequited love song. It is,
but
in a very specific way, I think.
Go on.
Am I getting it wrong?
Unrequited love to me suggests that somebody wants a kiss and a cuddle at the end of it. Am I right in that
the
notion
singer
of unrequited?
is in love with a girl. She's with someone else. The singer knows the someone else is playing away. The singer decides not to tell her because it would make her upset to know.
All right, my point being...
Isn't that what it is?
My point being a little bit then is where is the unrequited nature of it? Why is it somebody... I mean, undoubtedly, you are partially right, that is going on, but could this be a song of an observer who is not after a bit of love, if you like? It's just someone they love is a bit hurt. I can't see any evidence why it wouldn't be that. Could be a family member. Could be a father singing about a daughter. It could be a cousin singing about a grandmother. It could be all of these.
I think in all of those circumstances, that person would tell her.
Why?
Because the broader picture is that they want her out of that relationship. But I think it's the person who has the unrequited love affair. That's the motivation to not tell her.
That is what you'd expect. That is very much the nature, the language of pop music, isn't it? I think that's a massive assumption that if it was a family member or somebody else or somebody who was concerned about a friend, they would tell her. The chorus is so interesting, to me, so simple. Silence is golden, but my eyes still see. Silence is golden, but my eyes still see. That's all it says. This is about someone who is scared that whoever it may be, you have to presume it's a woman because there's loads of hers and his and all that. The narrator is concerned that the woman is going to say, mind your own business. I don't think it's necessarily a simp song, someone who's looking on from the look tired. It could be anybody singing about anybody, this song. That's my point. And the phrase silence is golden, I think, does such a lot of heavy lifting in this song because as you look at it, lyrically at least, silence is not golden. Yet, it is a dynamic. I find it really interesting about this song. The second verse, talking is cheap. People follow like sheep, even though there is nowhere to go. That's a good line. You can obviously listen to it as a love song. Let's be honest, it probably is. But what I'm saying is, if you could imagine, say if this was in a musical, this could be a genderless, nebulous relationship song about just not wanting to hurt somebody, not wanting that somebody to tell them to mind their own business. I mean, it made me think, James, this song. I saw a bloke harassing a woman a little bit on a street once. He was being aggressive with her. She was, fuck off, mate, leave me alone and all the thing. I said, are you all right? To her. They both told me to shut up and do one, and she was certainly as loud as him. Never mind your own business, mate. So silence is gold. I'm saying it might have that element as well to it.
Yeah, okay.
It's a weird way to talk about number one, but that's what I've done. Get really. I've liked the ambivalent nature of this song. I've liked imagining it this week, and it is beautiful. So it gives me another reason to listen to it again and think about something else.
And because, as you've alluded to, there has been no Beatles in this chart.
No Beatles.
But what did the Tremolos have that the Beatles didn't?
I know this. This is well done. It is when the Beatles did an audition for Decca. 1962, and Decca said, "No, you're all right. Guitar groups are on the way out," or something like that. They signed the Tremolos instead, didn't they, Decca? Yep. But they're delighted.
Hey, they got a number one.
Yeah, what's the name of the fellow who rejected them? I can't remember at the moment. But
we don't have to drag his name through the dirt.
No, he's had it enough, hasn't he? Imagine being that fellow who turned down the Beatles. Here he comes. He's got a story to tell.
What has been your favourite song in the top 10 that we've looked at this week?
It has been. Well, like I say, the only one I hadn't bought was the Dubliners, so that was a new one. I can't say that's my favourite. I'm going to go for Silence is Golden. I didn't have it on the greatest hits. I'm not a Tremolos fan necessarily, but because it's of its nebulous nature and its beautiful melody and the ding 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 intro, I'm going for that. Let's just talk about the top 10 in general. Did you enjoy it as a
collection of songs?
As a collection of songs.
I think there's a lot of ideas in this top 10.
Oh my God, isn't there?
A lot of ideas. Yeah. A lot of big songs that build and are about things and make you feel stuff. Yeah. And they're all pretty much 3 minutes.
Yep.
Long.
Yep.
Silence is Golden. I've heard that with new ears. The Boat That I Row, I'd never heard before. Absolutely love it. And Waterloo Sunset is great.
I mean, when we're knocking out things like Pictures of Lily and Something Stupid, that gives you an idea. It's a good top 10. It's a classic time for pop music.
It is. We are going to be talking about some other songs that didn't make the top 10 this week, but from this week in our special bonus episode, including 2 songs from terrible movies, including a song that you will be absolutely convinced got into the top 10, but it didn't, and a song that people were convinced was the Beatles, but wasn't.
Yeah. Like, subscribe, rate, follow,
review,
listen to the top 10. I mean, pathetically, James, despite, let's call it, us trying to garner interest, listen to the top 10. It's a great one this week, and it works as a whole.
And it doesn't take you very long. It's half an hour.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for listening.
Shooby dooby doo up.
Bop bop shoo up.